Okay, so welcome. We're going to go, this is a bit more in depth, and I'm going to use a guinea pig today, which you've been cool about. I've written all your formulas out, but I've gone and left it, so we're going to do this again. But after our little chat in the week, the little rehearsal, basically you are okay. Again, guys, I'm not going to pick on people because sometimes asking your weight out in front of people, it's very embarrassing. Okay, but the reason I've actually chosen Joe actually started where you guys were and came onto the 6-week challenge just over a year ago. And you might have seen some of the pictures going up on social media, some great transformations. This young lady has had an epic change in her lifestyle. She was I put your video out the other day, so yeah, you're a busy mum, didn't find the time. You finally got to a point in your life that, do you know what, nothing's going to happen unless you make the move. You found us. You don't need to big us up because you hate doing that. So how much have you lost in total? 3.5 stone. 3.5 stone. So when I needed help and you actually sort of said, hey, so basically we took you on, and basically you've been kind of, I always say, like the avatar, because Joe is literally our target market, busy mums over 30, as you know, you've come through that way. So the reason I've asked you as well, because you've done such an epic result, and on her stats are all green. So I have asked what her weight was, and she was okay sharing that. So rather than pick on people, put people on the spot, which is absolutely horrible and very embarrassing. We don't do that here. We don't shame people, and there's no need. We're all here for a reason. I know your weight in kilos, 111 pounds. So what we need to do, guys, and I'm going to put this information up here because I will forget, because when it comes to numbers, I'm absolutely useless. What were you in kgs? 51. So we've got the body weight is 51 kgs, okay? Losing too much weight. Right, that is, and all you need to do from here, guys, is work that out into, what's that in pounds? 111. That's an easy one to remember. Right, guys, so where we always say, don't worry, dive into your numbers. The 6-week challenges, again, I know it's all great, it's enthusiastic, you all come on, but you want to change everything at once. There is a systematic way, the behavioural, psychological way of adaptational change. If we gave you the sheet, we can all give you the sheet, which most places do, fad diets, those sort of things. If you keep doing that, jumping too far ahead, you will fail. Sorry, that sounds defensive, but you will fail. It's a gradual habit change, okay? Don't jump ahead. So when I talk about dialing into numbers, the reason I'm bringing this up is everyone's going to be looking at this and thinking, oh, fucking rapid. Yes, this is it. This is it. No, you're never going to be doing this. Not yet, okay? We just need the formula. The same for the small group peeps. You remember when we came on? Yeah, but now when you're into the later stages, we can dial in because you know your numbers, you know where you're at, you've been dialing in, you can pretty much be stuck on a desert island and hunt the fish and get anything you need, and you'll know, literally looking at it, roughly what you need because you've dialed in and you've educated through the system, okay? From here, guys, what you need to do, you can write this formula down, literally how it is. I am going to say, be sensible. Don't be a dick, okay? We're going to focus on this. The reason why, this will still give you great results. You will be losing £1, £2 a week. If you can't complain you aren't losing £7, I just know for a fact is you've probably done a fad diet in the past. You end up miserable and you end up coming off it, hence people come here because they never followed that diet which worked first time. You'll reach a plateau. You'll be extremely miserable to be around. This is the best formula. So what we do, guys, it's your pounds, which is 11. Oh, can I have your calculator? Thank you. Oh, I think I've just logged into your OnlyFans page. So I'm going to stand this side so she don't hit me. Oh, I better edit that out. Times. Right. That should be so simple. Right. So this would give me a number for Joe at 1332. Now, to be honest with you, because you're actually there and you're all green, I'd actually have you. This is where everyone goes like, huh? Here, because if your body fat's down, you're not really looking to lose weight. And this is for all you. When you get to a point as you hit your goal weight, don't carry on going there. Live a little. Go to lean mass. Now, it's not going to turn you into Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger unless you're on hormonal therapy. This would be the best place to be at, because you'd only put on lean muscle, but you change your body. It's more about body composition. I should have put body composition change, where basically you get down to your level where you want to be, rather than depriving yourself of life. You're not really here, because you'll realise your number, it's a lot higher than you've probably been used to following some fad diet. Does that make sense? So it's playing with the numbers, but that's what I say, dialing into your numbers and assessing it as you go. Okay, and it's not as often as you think. So here, what we're going to do, we're going to break this down. Now, I go for a formula. I'm running out of boards. It's a small board, isn't it? Proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Carbs and fats. I'm going to move out of the way in a second so you can all see. So per gram of protein, I'll break this down because you're going to be like, what do these numbers mean? Per gram of protein, 1 gram is 4 calories. Same with carbohydrates. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. Now, this is where it goes fats. Fat per 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. Okay? The reason I'm telling you, you can write this down, I won't try because it's going to be too many numbers. So for the percentage wise, and I always sort of feel it works, I've played around to your numbers a bit. Okay, but usually 9 times out of 10 it always works. I've used it for years. There are different percentages depending on what diets people go for, but this is a good ratio of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. You do not skip any of them, where people think, oh, we're going to go on some sort of Atkins thing. No, because that's a diet, and everything diet is going to fail. Okay, so this is a good moderate way of eating. You'll be realizing, like you did the other day, just how much you have to eat, which is more of a shock once you know your numbers. So protein, you have at 30%. 30% of your calories are going to come from protein. So this is where I say to people, you know, when they go, oh, how many calories can I have? And like, it's not really about the calories, because you could just go and smash your calories for a drive-through up the road, and then you're left deprived for the rest of the day. Okay, so 30% protein, 40% carbs, 30% fat. Now, I know I've played with your numbers a little bit because we've been experimenting, but we do on that. But all kind of dialed in, all right? So, with Joe's, we're going to go for this example of 1,332 times 0.3 equals, now, the number you'll get first of all is 399 for you. Now, that might not mean anything to you. That's the calories from protein you need a day. So if you're going to start tracking, that's how many calories you need from protein. Okay, we'll talk about the MyFitPal, those sort of anything you can do track at the end. Okay, so ask that question at the end. So I'm just going to write this down because actually it does make a lot of sense. Once you know these numbers, guys, you start looking at things differently. 399. 399. So that's going to mean be the same again. So 1,332. I should have this all prepared. Times 0.4. 0.4 for carbs. So if you've got your number, great, guys. You work with your own number, because actually you can go home and you look at it and it's all done for you. You know your numbers, and we'll have time to play catch up with yours in a moment. 1,332.3 399. 399 calories there. So we've got those. We've broken down we know you need to have proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. We know Joe has to have 399 calories from protein. What the hell does that mean? You take that number 339, divide, what's the calories per gram? 4. That leaves your magic number when I say your daily intake of protein is 99.7. Rounding off, you're on 100 grams of protein. Okay? That's our magic number there. Okay, so the next one will be carbohydrate. So 532 divide, what was the gram, or how many calories in a gram? Yes, well done. 133. I know this doesn't make sense because I'll work you out on that. Because you don't need to lose any weight. That's where a good professional comes in to tell you stuff, guys. Right, 399, just get this. Right, this number 399, it's the same up here. But if you remember what I said about 5 minutes ago, how many calories per gram of fat? 9. So divide that number by 9 equals 44. See, already, to be honest, if you're under usually 55 kgs, I wouldn't have you usually on either of them. You'd be here. Right, so this is the number. Now, when people sort of say to me, oh, can you just write me out a meal plan? Can you send me a meal plan? And I'm like, I don't know what you like. And I remember I've sent out ebooks before of 133 recipes. 2 weeks later, people go, have you got any more recipes? Why? Because you've gone through the 133. Come on, find something you like. And that's why we say, guys, you know, don't overcomplicate it. Just choose a couple of selections. You can go out, spend an absolute fortune on food, realize you don't like it. Choose things you like. Again, we always sort of say just choose 2 or 3 breakfasts, because 9 times out of 10 in the week, most people at breakfast go for the same thing. Add a little bit of variety over time. Don't get to the point of foods you're eating that you get bored, change it. And it's all in the ebook, so you can loads of breakfast, lunches and dinners, okay, from there. So the next question would be, and we've had that chat because I've got people who can eat 6 times a day, 5 times a day, 4 times a day, 3 times a day, and even 2. The only issue is if you eat 2 times a day, you have got to be eating like King Henry VIII. Okay, so I'm going to break this down, and you said 3, and it's going to be freaking 3, isn't it? 3. You heard 3, didn't you? Yes, yes. So Joe is going to be eating 3 meals a day. What does this mean? So now this is going to be a rough estimate because I kind of break this down into easier terms. Okay, so I'm going to take all these. Actually, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to destroy my board. Don't tell me off. So moving on from this is how I'd break this down. Oh. Right, so I'm going to take this number 100. Guess how much I'm going to divide this by?
3.
Yes. Why is that? 3. Perfect. Good. You're good at this. You've been, yeah, very good. Right, so it's 100 divided. I could probably work that out in my head. So protein per meal. So 3 meals. We're basing this on 3 meals. Okay, you're going to realise how the pros do it, guys. 33 grams per meal. This all makes sense shortly for the next phase. So carbohydrates, 133. When people say they need to cut out carbs, why? Because they're so good. I'm going to put P for protein, C for carbs, and 44. I know for a fact we had you on a different count and it's 55 grams, and you were like, but it's good because then you start realizing as well you can eat more to weigh less or change your body shape. And last one, fats, 44. It's going to be pretty petty. So again, like I say with Joe, actually it's not too bad because the other day I worked out as 18, and for the next bit you realize is actually what you can eat in that the pot, the one she's going to grab once I pull it out. Right. Beat you to it, didn't I? So, guys, 3 meals a day. I've got Jo on. I'm looking at her protein count. So when people so what I'd say is do a food diary, take a picture, send it. We're like, right, we can see now we're going to have trouble at the end of the week when we come onto the scales or reassess, because I know for a fact from looking at photos is we're nowhere near that. We might be in that, sometimes over, and sometimes way over, sometimes too short. This is where we can assess people, and this is what we do with you guys daily. So we know this. Now, what does this all mean? So some of you guys have realised this has been lurking around with numbers on it. No one actually understands it, and the question is, what does it mean? We're going to work this out today based upon Jo's stats. Obviously, you're going to have different stats, but we're going to give you the idea of how this works. It gets my potato out. So first of all, what I've normally do, and actually what we had a chat here the other day, we went through, because again, when people go, can you write me a food plan, those sort of things, is, well, how the bloody hell do I know what you like? So we went through the board, didn't we? Should have got the board out and copied it, and you could highlight it. We can have a look, a bit more detail, is what foods do you like? Like, did you like fish? Yeah, you did, because you like salmon, don't you? So again, cool. We'll use that. Actually, we'll use salmon as a perfect example. Okay, so I'm going to break down. What would you normally have for breakfast, by the way? You don't really eat breakfast, do you? No. Okay, what's the first meal of the day? Proteins. Okay, now this is a good thing, guys, because I've just actually skipped this part. You've just reminded me. So, how many times a day do I want Jo to eat? 3. Now, what I'll start asking you about was about when do you have lunch on a daily basis? Sometimes it changes depending on your workload, who you're dealing with. And what I actually say, because if you're going on a day, you organise it, you know what day you're leaving, that sort of thing. What I actually say is a strategy, guys, and actually what I say to the people who come on a regular basis, you've got your set times, you know where you're going to be, you know that's your hour of power. Those people with more structure, who are organised with diaries, are usually more resilient to get the job done. Okay, so again, like Andrew, you told me you can do 9:30s on a Friday, so that's your time. It's the same, guys, is with your nutrition. Try and figure out, again, times come by, life chucks curveballs at us, guys, but what I suggest is, know when you're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack, okay? And we can talk about snacks shortly, but we're just trying to get her eating solid meals. Don't drink your meals, okay? Protein shake is for straight after your workout. If you're not a morning person, okay, a protein shake first thing in the morning. Don't always rely on just drinking your meals. That is the worst way to go. You want to enjoy food. We're put on this earth to enjoy food, eat food. Stop drinking stuff, okay? Don't join up to Herbalife. Potatoes. You like potatoes, don't you? Just as well, because actually I got you buying some yesterday. I didn't know if you did or not. Right, guys. So we're gonna work this out. So your times, you want to write down, guys, when you're going to eat breakfast. Most of the time, things change. A time you're going to eat lunch, and a time you're going to eat dinner. Now, working on those times, guys, I'm going to say if there's more than 5 hours between, that's where I'd say right bang smack in the middle, have a snack, okay? Because 5 hours is where your blood sugar levels start to drop off a little bit. You want to sustain them for constant weight loss, all right? And that can be anything, a handful of nuts, yogurt, maybe a protein bar, bit of fruit, those sort of things. So my number for Jo is carbohydrates. We're going to work on this. So actually the protein, fish. You're about to have a jack of potato with salmon fillet. That's an interesting mix, that. Yeah, it's probably not the best. Tell you what you like chicken. Let's have tuna. Tuna jacket. Tuna. Right. Okay, guys. So, because we've done it all for you. This magic board is going to make so much sense, you being here. So, Joe's going to have a jacket potato. That's quite a big jacket potato, but we're going to weigh it. This is where the scales break. So, per 100 grams, let's find a potato on here. It's a starchy carbohydrate, and we're eating carbohydrates. Potato. This is what I like about jacket potatoes. These, if you ask me, guys, are the secret to sustainable weight loss and to change your body shape and keep you full longer. Okay? You'll be amazed. You'll be full on a jacket potato, perhaps not a couple of slices of bread. Okay? So Joe's number is 44 for this meal. So per 100 grams of potato, what's that? Have I got your phone? Can you just put in? Actually, 44. Actually, do you know what? 44 divided, that is pretty much it. So we're looking for 200 grams of potato. Did you bring a knife? Oh, you're useless, aren't you? No. Why? Yeah. So that is, guys. Now, would you say it's quite a lot of potato to eat? Yeah. Well, it's literally 400 grams. That is actually one you could share with yourself. So that's 400 grams. So that's half. So actually, you'll look at a small potato because I've got to say that's quite a big potato. Half of that potato. Okay. So visually, when I sort of say to people, weigh your food out, would you say it's still quite a lot? Okay, cool. Well, that's cool. So if that's the case, what you could look at here, because this is when I say dialing into your numbers. If you're not such a breakfast person, you might only want to have a couple of eggs. You could bring your numbers. This is what I've broken this down to simple terms, but this is where kind of like the apps of MyFitnessPal come in, and you can track those a lot easier, so you can move them into the day. Whereas the great thing is sometimes and you guys said to me, it's like we can't even get anywhere near our calories, and I'm like, take that daily. What do I normally say to you at the weekend? Have a blowout, because it's like I always sort of say it's like banking. You put in, you've made interest. Spend your interest at the weekend, and the longer you do that is, well, you guys, we know you go on nice little holidays, you enjoy life a lot, so we go just have a week off, have a blowout for the whole 10 days when you're away. So you're playing with your numbers because you're dialing in, you kind of know the game, all right? Even if it's a cheeky bottle of wine at the weekend, it's in your numbers, all right? I will get the formula of alcohol, but it's something 109.90. Yeah. 1 ounce of alcohol. Do you know what? I'm going to look that up. Just clarify it, because I say another. I'm not even too sure if it's true, and I can't lie. Right. Carbohydrates. So we've got half that potato. That's good because you don't eat a lot anyway. Now you're eating more. Fat. So actually talking about if you did have it with salmon, salmon has a lot of fat in it because it's one of our omega-3s. Anything with fattier fish. Oh, I didn't put that in. So white fish is a leaner fish. The mackerel, salmons contain a lot of fat. They are good fats, omega-3 fish oils, which is good for your brain. But again, it still comes into your numbers as well. Where most people kind of go on the chicken basis, which we usually it's chicken. So imagine we had a chicken breast. You need to weigh your chicken breast. You would need exactly, that is, I know for a fact, just looking at that, you need 125 grams. See, because once you know your numbers, you know it. 125 grams of uncooked chicken. You weigh food, guys, uncooked. Okay? So that would be 125 grams of chicken. Let me write this down. Oh, I don't need to, do I? I can do yours later. That's fine. And then fat, guys. So realistically, with a meal like potato, and you have salad, vegetables, and chicken or tuna. You actually said tuna, didn't you? Right, let's take that for example. So tuna, guys. So again, look at these numbers, because when you start dialing these numbers, tuna, 28 grams. So 28 grams, you would need, ironically enough, pretty much bang on It's the same. Because chicken is a bit more. So actually you'd have a bit more tuna. So you're actually looking about 150 grams, 125, 100. That's a tin. That's a tin of tuna. So you know you need that for lunch per se. And then for dinner, you could have, say, a chicken breast with, well, you actually have the other half of the potato. You can make chips. There you go. You could have half a jar of potato and you make chips. There you go. I'm spoiling you, girl. There you go. There we are. You're welcome. So that's an idea. But what someone's saying is they'd have a lot more for lunch. So again, you're not a breakfast person. You might have a late night. So you might just have, I don't know, just something light. It might be that protein shake because you're not a breakfast person. You work out in the mornings. That might be, you have that protein shake after you're working out. You know you're getting protein, because protein, did I write? I definitely wrote that one down. You definitely wrote that one down. Whey protein. One scoop is 25 grams of protein. To be honest, guys, I always say have a protein shake straight after workout because you get your branched chain amino acids. Branched chain amino acids are contained in beef, fish, and poultry. Okay, and they help build the building block of the body. Whereas if you're going to get protein from these, they don't contain branched chain amino acids. Okay, but you can change things to make branched chain amino acids in other forms of your diet. Fat, guys, to be honest, usually comes from oils, cooking oil. If you're having red meat, that's it. If you're having red meat, guys, just dial in your numbers and maybe track it a little bit, just so you get your head around it, because steak contains fat. But I've got to be honest with you, you do actually want fat from these things as well, because they do help the body grow. Say like a ribeye steak does contain more fat than sirloin, but you still need to use, say, the 20 grams of fat in that meal. 100 grams, 100. So if you're on 33 grams, that is, if you have a steak in the evening, you are on, what I say, 200. Basically, it's like a steak, 150, 175 grams of steak. You'd probably have about 11 to 12 grams of fat in that. So we're roughly there. So what I'd probably suggest there is ease back on the cooking oils a little bit, unless you can take those numbers out during the daytime. But the best thing to do, guys, with that is there are apps. MyFitPal is the one predominantly used, and it's good. There is another app called Macros, but predominantly again, with the guys I work with, it's MyFitnessPal. That's a very, very good app to use. Does that make sense? Questions? Go for it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the good one. That's cool. That's cool. Because we know tuna is a lean fish. It's not an omega-3 one, so there has no fat in it. We know a potato has no fat in it. So, usually with butter, I always sort of say I don't really count the fats really, but I always just know whether it's nuts or anything. Actually, no, it's like a handful of nuts I have. The tip, butter, and I'd always actually cook with grass-fed butter. Now, there's only a couple of brands. It's an Irish butter. Yes, it is. So, guys, write that down. If you're going to go for a butter, use the grass-fed one, because most of them aren't. But you can literally, it's the one that doesn't actually get bought on the shelves. So, yeah, that one, the grass-fed butter, and cook with that. Cook with coconut oil. Has an acquired taste if you're cooking with things, to be honest. But yes, so again, you'd have that as your fat. If you're having salads, if you're not got fat in all your meals, and again, like I say, guys, you can't miss anything. I'd actually have, say, a salad dressing of extra virgin olive oil, a bit of balsamic vinegar, maybe a squirt of lemon. That makes a nice salad dressing, and also it has a cleansing effect on the body. Won't go into details. Again, endless amounts of vegetables. I always sort of say have vegetables for each meal. Maybe not be breakfast, first thing in the morning. Vegetables or salads per meal. Next question. Go for it. Yeah. Now, again, I haven't put vegetables down here because, if I'm honest with you, I don't really count, say, green coloured vegetables. Now, again, I've got your butternut, it's all the family there. That's more of a starch still. Butternut does, do I have butternut there? No. Okay, butternut, it's kind of along the same lines as pumpkin. Like you get that in this country. Pumpkin, sweet potato. I've forgotten the family. What is that? Well, it's a squash family, but there's another scientific name for that. But butternut would classify it as this, but still nice to have in sort of salads as well. But I think you can have a lot more butternut. You can a lot more butternut and pumpkin than you can with sweet potato or potato. Okay, so that's where you see in a lot of sort of diets, a lot of butternut, because it is a good carbohydrate. It's just as favourite. But colours, guys, coloured vegetables, greens, yellows, reds, endless amounts. Pile your plate. To be honest, if you ask me if we had a picture of your plate, let's draw a picture. I'm good at drawing pictures. That's a dodgy plate. I'd, as you always say, if I'm honest with you, have veg salad, because again, I'd sort of say as we get older, I think we appreciate the goodness of it. Whereas children, you sort of say, have half that, they can be like, sod that, mum and dad, I'm not eating that. I'd always sort of say, have half your plate full of this because it's the fibre, it's got your vitamins and minerals in it. Okay, and you do dressings, whatever have you. Okay, if you're not a salad person, don't worry. I'd have your protein and your starchy carb on that side of the plate. But if all honest with you, looking at that is the idea, guys. Measure your carbohydrates, measure your proteins, measure your, can't really measure your fats. So you can get an idea of the tip of your thumb, not the guy next to you with the bigger thumb. All right. When it comes to, I think that's that. I was about to say something else. Leave it there. But actually, once you get that's it. So, guys, after about 3 or 4 days of weighing your food, I've got to be honest with you, you kind of get, you don't really, do you weigh your food still? Yeah, you do. That's cool. That's why you're losing pounds.
Just a question about the butternut and carrots. How does that skew your sugar? How does that skew your sugars? Because
it does. It can, but if I'm honest with you, if you're eating enough protein, if you're eating the protein, it's going to sustain your sugar levels. But it's not like eating a chocolate bar or something like that. So the sugars from vegetables aren't so bad. Now, fruit, this is where sometimes people think, oh yeah, do you know what? I've changed my diet around. I'm eating loads of fruit a day. I'm having like 9 portions of fruit a day. Great, but if I'm honest with you, if you're doing weight loss, and this is again when people first go into a change of plan, I don't think I always say, oh God, I've got to go too technical here. I actually always say, don't eat fruit for 2-3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. Due to the fact is, your body, if you've not done any exercise, not been losing weight for a while, you are carb sensitive. You are sugar sensitive because you've been putting the wrong side of things inside your body. It's all great when people sort of do all the berries and buy watermelons and that sort of thing. Berries good, they all have benefits. But if your body's not been used to burning the sugars, you are carb sensitive. And that's usually the people who drink a lot of wine, those sort of things, and then try and change the plan. It's hard, cut it out for 2 weeks because then your body will start regulating. Because that, if you don't, it will probably lead to diabetes. Okay, that's cut the sugars out for 2 weeks. I think most diets you go on always sort of say that, but actually there is a benefit of trying to come off of that. And that's why I haven't put fruit here. Because I know if I left this board around and people be like, look at the endless amounts of fruit, I'm just going to go and eat fruit all day long. Great, but you still need the adequate amount of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats from the starchy carbs. So the fruits do contain a lot of sugar. Now, over time, usually initially the first 2 weeks, it's very scientific this, your body starts regulating, can burn the sugars a lot more effectively. So 9 times out of 10, if you cut the fruit out, you're probably going to drop about 5-6 pounds in 10 days just from cutting out the sugar. Reintroduce it because it's good benefits. The vitamins you get from berry, I always sort of go with the berry families, pears, oranges have loads of benefits, apples, those sort of things. Stay away from watermelon. Watermelon does contain a lot of sugar, tastes great. Same the pineapple, beautiful, but they contain a lot of sugars and it does go towards your carbohydrates. And the thing is, it probably won't fill you up as much as one of these, or half. But again, when that time comes off of starting a plan, again, usually always sort of say to people, actually about third, fourth week into like your 6 week challenge, reintroduce. I haven't really gone into detail on this and the guys, but don't get too caught up eating fruit, because people do come on sometimes to the program, just eat fruit for breakfast, lunch and dinner, but we're not getting the right amount of proteins. You're probably not getting the right amount of carbohydrates because it's not going to sustain your energy levels. Okay, and you certainly won't be getting that much fat from fruit. All right, only fat fruit there's one fat fruit, two fat fruits. Yeah, do you know what they are? Avocado, coconut. Hence there's benefits around that as well. Next, you had a question, so. Yeah. Cool. Do you, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. It is a shock, and this is why I want to do this, because you'd be amazed. Just to actually give you reassurances when people kind of like, oh, I want to cut out. I'm not losing weight. I want to cut out more. We get sometimes people when we come to us not eating enough, and then it's telling them to eat, say, around 1,600, 2,000 calories, and they're like, but my diet didn't do that before. I couldn't do that before because my diet said I couldn't. Yes, that was a fad diet. To be honest, you could lose 10 pounds. We could chop a leg off, but I think you're going to need the leg some point, sort of thing.
With the whole say in the park, if you just had a tuna salad at lunch, could you then have the full spuds of an evening?
Now this, I love this, because this is where I get excited, because once you get to know your numbers and you're not having that, you could eat like a king and queen and feast out on an evening meal. Okay? You can't believe what I said to you the other day. Yeah, you can't believe it, can you? No, because my key to secret fat loss is I have a massive bowl of porridge and just before I go to bed. And anyone looks at me, when I tell people that, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much my giveaway. But because if you have it in the morning, it actually makes you a bit drowsy to have too much carbohydrates in the morning. A couple of people I work with, I actually just get them eating eggs. Loads of eggs in the morning, and then they can have all their carbohydrates in the evening with dinner, chips, and an air fryer. Not bad chips, good chips. You think about it, guys, potatoes you can do anything with. Mash, wedges, chips, jacket, all sorts. So yes, if you're not going to eat, if you don't have that many carbohydrates, but you know your number is whatever your number would be, is this, you could take that from there to there. When I say dialing into your numbers, if you know that you haven't eaten that, you can save it for an even time. I knew someone who got a great shape. They ate 2 meals a day. They didn't eat breakfast, so basically said to them, just don't eat breakfast. But he knows when he's going to eat. But he knows he's not feasting on 2 big meals a day. But he's kind of eased up on the first meal. He's a firefighter plus a chimney sweeper, and he literally gets through the whole day. But in the evening time, he literally likes to send me his pictures of massive burgers and everything, because his numbers are in the evening time. So again, but it takes a while to get. It can take about 3 months, kind of figure out your numbers. And we all say, do you know your numbers? Or if you cut out this, cut out that. Once you know your numbers, you know your number. However, over time, when you do hit your number and you get down to your goal weight, don't stay there. usually, and this is where I'm going to bring in some of the small group PTs, is where usually kind of go on about 2 or 3 weeks. Actually, I sent you your numbers for your refeed days, didn't I? Did you understand that? Don't worry about it if you're not. No, it's fine. That's cool. No one does. Don't worry. I send that, and I realise I haven't explained that yet, but we'll have a coffee morning at some point, and then. Right, the refeed days, more or less is, guys, I'll put you eating your maintenance. That's your maintenance number. So your maintenance number is actually usually, right with you, Steve. Oh, didn't realise the time. I'll introduce you to the Grim Reaper. I mean, Steve, shortly. Your maintenance level, when you get down to your goal weight, you have something, or leptin, you have something in your body. You have a hormone goes into your body, is in your body, called leptin. Leptin helps you burn fat, sends signals to the brain to keep burning fat. If you're in too much of a deficit, and you are on a slight deficit with that moderate number, you're still in a deficit with your number, okay? Over the course of, usually, it's different to everyone. It can be 6 weeks, it can be 7, 8, even the 9th week. I had someone get about to the 10th week before something happened. Everything's going well, then you'll plateau. And then people will psychologically panic and think, oh shit, I've got to cut down my calories more. I've got to change my numbers. I've got to literally shred everything. I've got to add more. And I had this in the video the other week. I start doing more. I'm going to exercise more, till you're not just doing 3 times a week, you're doing 4 times a week. You don't get results, you can do 5 times a week, and then you're thinking, oh, all's lost. You go to 6 times a week, then you get injured, and it sets you back months, and you get depressed, and you start eating more anyway. What I do, I tell people, you know, but it's sorry, but it's weird to get your head around it, because when I say what I'm about to say, everyone's like, huh? But I want to lose weight. Right, so I'm going to use Tanya as an example. Is that all right? Yeah, it's fine. That's cool. Because a lot of my clients, so I look at me and I'm like, but no. I said, no, you're paying me to give you advice. Listen to it. And it's like, no, everyone wants to go against it. But it is. It's not. It's the most funny because it's not something you're used to. What did I say to you when you got to that point? Because everyone does. And everyone, basically, your leptin levels run out because you're in a deficit. Once your body gets to a point, you can't lose any more body fat. This is where people go on the yo-yo diet system and start, everything goes up and down and your sugar levels go all over the place. Your metabolism gets absolutely go bonkers, all right? What do I say? Trust the process and eat more. Eat more. Now, usually, I then work out a formula to go on to. I always say about 4 days to a week. Put your pounds in, times that by 15, and that's the refeed number. That's normally roughly just over maintenance. And I always say, do that for 4 days. I had a guy, and this is the chimney sweeper guy, he hit a plateau. Oh, you met him the other day? Yeah, Sam. Yeah. And yes, and I said to him, what do you like? You know, you said to me on our assessment, the consultation is your biggest thing was Five Guys. Loves it. That was it. That'd be his treat day. And when he came and joined me, that sort of thing, I'm like, okay, you've hit a plateau in the 8th week, and he starts to panicking. I know I've literally not eaten today. I'm like, no, mate. Right, we're going to make this up. You got 4 days. You need to eat 2 Five Guys a day. And he, what? Sorry? Right, you like it, don't you? Yeah, cool. This has got X amount in it. You got this. That is your maintenance. You got. Oh, I can't, mate. I want to lose. I want to lose weight. No, and that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Anyway, he done it for 4 days. He's like, this is. He was panicking. He was kind of by the Sunday night. He was like, yeah, mate, I can't do this. Do you like the burger? That's freaking great. But right, great. Friday, we're going to reassess you, and that's all. He lost £3. He lost £3 because we played with the numbers. Once you plateau, guys, you get a bit, don't have fear, embrace it. Embrace it. And this is the thing no one can get around their head. Hit the maintenance number. Yeah, see, you're smiling there because people are thinking, treat day. So we have these plans, don't we? What do you like? Where do we going to go? Have your plan. Because one thing I hate, guys, when I get to that moment, and I go out and I have something to eat, excuse my French, shit. And I think I've just wasted my calories here. I wish I've gone up to my favourite place, Covent Garden, a place called Maxwell's, and I think I'm going to get the rack of ribs or a double pate burger. Yeah, I'm just like, yes, blow out, loads of chips. Yeah, so that's when you can play with your numbers. Go what you like, sort of thing. But usually from when you start something and you work in a deficit, so life shouldn't always be in a deficit. Once you get to your goal, but even if that goal might be, and you work this out, is £2 a week, it might, if it's £50 you've got to lose, if it's £100 you've got to lose, you've got to work out, right, £2, that is it, be realistic, that's 25 weeks. Okay, great, but 25 weeks, divide 8 or 9 or whatever that number may be, you think, I've got 4-day blowouts in that course of time. Now that's a weird way because there's quite a lot of complication there, isn't it? But it will help you get through, and actually it will continue the leptin levels, because as soon as those leptin levels drop off, your body needs to go into a maintenance or actually in a surplus. It's great when it goes in surplus because I'm usually eating about 4,000, 5,000 calories a day for 4 or 5 days. Yeah, but people just think, but if you are a very, very small, lean person, and you're on 3,500, 4,000 calories a day, your body won't put on fat for probably up to 14 days of that. That's the same when because your body needs to start getting used to doing that. And someone very lean is not going to be so hypersensitive when eating carbohydrates. It will take time. Okay, a bit like what we're saying. The reverse is if you are overweight and you're eating loads of sugars or loads of carbohydrates, you just dial back in. It's not like you can eat carbohydrates, but as long as you know your numbers, dial in, ease off the sugars, cut out the sugars. Because the amount of foods, and actually the other thing is, guys, and I don't think it's happened this time around, anyone sometimes when they come to the plan, they've gone to Aldi and they think, it's a protein shake. I like this, but they don't actually see the sugars in it. You've just kind of killed the philosophy of what you're trying to do, because the amount of sugars in these lovely tasting protein yogurts, no one's actually realised about the content of the sugar. So just look at the sugars. If you are trying to lose weight, you can try and cut out as much sugar as you can. Sugar's in a lot of things, but if you can cut out the main things like the fruit and that sort of thing for just for 14 days, 2 weeks, trust me, your body will start to regulate and burn carbohydrates and sugars a lot better.
Thinking snack-wise and sugars, I usually have about 7 hours between lunch and dinner, sometimes 8 hours. So thinking that snack midpoint, but then I'm usually still at school at that point, and usually my snack around is a pack of chocolate digestive biscuits, which obviously is not very good and very high.
Okay, so now this is a good thing is once you dial into your numbers and you start looking at packets. Again, tomorrow we're in a competition at the moment. Oh, you. Now, tomorrow, I've actually just, because I had a bit of a crazy couple of weeks, we had maintenance and a few other things happened in my life. I knew I wasn't going to be around, so I ended up going to, we're going to be battling everyone else. So I'll go and get the baseball bats out, stand by the freezers. Again, guys, looking at packages, if you are busy, that sort of thing, I actually go to a place, you can go and get meal prep, and actually it has barely any salt in it. Actually, you've brought this up, it's really good. And there's an offer on it at the moment. Don't tell them where we go.
Sold out. I'm not joking.
Erin texted you, said, is there a chance I can use your freezer? She went, what the for? I thought, well, I've just bought loads. Why don't you use your own? Because I packed out yesterday and I've got to get loads more because I know Tanya's after them. So I ended up going to Chelmsford. But just because they're on offer and it just works out. It works out for me. It just works out better because it's, yeah. But anyway, do you know what? For my macros, I can have 6 of those a day. I don't. But because of what I have to have, for my numbers, because I know my numbers, in this packet, per portion is 43. So, Joe, if you, actually I know for a fact is, the numbers I worked out for you the other day, if we were working at your that, you'd actually be able to have like 3 of those a day. Not like you would, because chicken rice in the morning, I've done that in Thailand though, it is nice. So yeah, looking at the packets, the biscuits, once you know your numbers, once you start eating, you'll be like, holy mother of God, is that what's in a biscuit? If you have 2 or 3 biscuits, you can actually realise is you could probably have 2 meals like this and be under the calories. Because people don't see, once you know your numbers, God, it's so tiring every time. Once you know your numbers and you dial into your numbers, that's where the number game comes in. All right, guys, I'm going to step. Oh, shit. Do you know what? Right, guys, I'm going to stop there. Guys, I'm going to give you about 5-10 minutes. If you need the toilet, if you want to grab a coffee or tea, bring it over, you can. And then I'm going to get Steve coming in for about 35 minutes, just have a chat, and I think he's going to demo new someone before, because he's not going to use me for this demo.
But I will give you 10 minutes of enjoyment on here.
I'll introduce you to Steve. I'll introduce you to Steve after the break. Okay, be back in about 6-7 minutes, guys.